Live. Well, very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to CMV Studios. We're back. We have another artist interview with you today. We've got the phenomenal Francois one-man band live from South Africa, wonderful Cape Town for us. Great to see a few of you in here. As you'll know, this is the third one of these we've done now. Francois, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Hi, Tom. Thank you very much for having me, man. It's nice to be able to have a chat with you.
No, exactly. So, guys, as you're aware, we'll go through a bit of Francois' background, why he got into music, how he does what he does, why he does it, why he puts all the effort into continuously keeping you guys happy down in South Africa and across the world, obviously on sessions and his Facebook Live videos. So, Francois, let's get this show underway, shall we? So, what made you get into music originally then?
I've been playing my guitar most of my life. I think I started playing guitar around about when I was 6. I got a chance to go professional when I was 21. I've been in the game ever since, loving it.
Perfect. So, if someone knew, if he was at one of your shows, either live or he was online streaming, and someone said, I've just got my first guitar, I want to get into doing music, what sort of tips would you give them as to working their way through the early stages of getting into music?
Learn to love the guitar. Learn to love its sound. It must do something for you. It must, you can just play open strings. And I used to sit days just on the acoustic guitar, putting my ear on the side, just listening to the sound of the guitar. If you want to play guitar, just fall in, you have to create a love affair with the guitar. It must talk to you.
Yeah, perfect. And obviously, there's so many examples from big music artists and artists of all genres that have learned to love their guitar, and you can tell that by their passion. And you said that you said, as you said there, learn to love your guitar. Is there any artists that sort of inspired you as well to get you into doing that in the early days?
My dad listened to a lot of Shadows, Creedence, a little bit of Clapton, but not much. But it's more that Lobo. Not about those guys. And Pink Floyd, David Gilmour. He loved David Gilmour. But I grew up listening mainly to the Shadows, which means I learned to listen to harmonies because Shadows played not harmonies, melodies. They played melodies of songs and the tune. So that's where when I played the tune, and that's where I started. So first it was the Shadows. Then when I was in high school, I joined the school band, and we were playing a bit of rock and roll, a bit of Afrikaans music, the ethnic, like a almost polka type, old school type of music. And then when I went professional at the age of 21, that's when I sort of started learning all the commercial tunes. That's when Clapton and Gary Moore, yes, and Dire Straits, that was the other very big influence. My dad bought the first Dire Straits album, and I played Sultans of Swing. I scratched that record 2 bits and then I recorded it on tape and fast forward, rewind until I got the solo spot on, and I've been playing that ever since. And yeah, those are the sort of the influences. I didn't really listen to a lot of hard rock. Creedence. I grew with Creedence, and that was the standard acoustic, Lodi, and all the easy sing along sort of stuff. But and then when I got to turn professional, I met up with a guy. And he said to me, "No, do you know what you're playing?" I said, "No, well, I'm playing the tune. This is what I hear." He said, "But do you know why the tune is the tune?" I said, "No, well, he wrote it." He said, "No, it comes via scales and modes. You gotta get these fingers organized. Doesn't matter that you don't know what you're playing or where it's coming from, because if you want to write your own stuff, then you gotta be able to figure things out." And put me on a path with scales and modes, and never looked back. It was a one-page thing that he wrote down for me, and I mean, eternally grateful to Mick. Bless his soul, he's not with us anymore. Yeah,
And as you said the other day, that, or as you just said a moment ago as well, career started professionally at 21, and 34 years later, you're still doing what you love. So you've obviously got the passion behind it to do it, and sort of
yeah,
made it to what it is. Obviously,
yeah. Sorry.
obviously you work as Francois one man band. Any particular reason why you went down that path to categorize it as one man band and not just yourself
The,
as
sur- the
a
surname is Duplessis, and I'd been playing for most of my life just as Francois. I don't really put my surname with it, but 5 6 years ago, I started touring every year to Europe and playing pubs, restaurants, resorts, and stuff like that. And last year, I did a gig in Venray at a fete, and I couldn't put a banner up. So people were saying, "Who's this Francois?" to friends of mine, and um, so I I couldn't because I was linked to Francois with Bands for Africa, my company at that stage, and but nobody internationally had heard of Bands for Africa because it's a local company for the local guys. So a friend of mine suggested, you know what, you need to look at you're going overseas, performing in Europe, all over the world more often now. So you need to to align your brand in that way. And so, what better to? I always play as a one-man band. So if I play up there, then who's this guy? It's Francois one-man band. And go and Google him, and that's how it came off. And I've been saying to everybody, as difficult as COVID has been this year, this is the best thing that's happened for my brand because I've moved over from this old Francois brand to Francois one man band, and with all the live streaming, on Facebook and sessions, YouTube, uh, all of a sudden th- that name has been expanded, so which has been absolutely awesome.
Oh, perfect. And as you said, you've got that sideline entity there, Bands for Africa. Tell us a little bit more about that. What work does it involve, and how's that helped you get to where you are in your career now?
Well, in Cape Town for many years, Cape Town's as big as it is, it's a very small place. So we don't have a lot of live music venues, and this being Africa, it's not. It's a third world country. It's the first third world country trying to masquerade as a first world country, or city, And there aren't a lot of structures in Africa. So what I did with Bands for Africa, I put a live music circuit together, and we booked the guys, and we rotated it. We managed it for a while, and that was from about 2007, 2008. And then we had our best years about 2009, 2010, actually during the global recession, because we had built a base and everything happened quite good. And then the World Cup soccer came on. We were extremely busy, but after the World Cup soccer, everything fell flat. Nobody had money in Cape Town, and it was just the whole industry sort of took a serious knock. So we just sort of tread water, and then around about, I'll say 2014, I decided, look, I'm still going to manage this, but not as much. I'm just going to rather manage what I have, because the gigs went down quite a bit. So then I started focusing on my own career, and I said, well, look, I need to go. I got a couple of gigs overseas and in Europe, and I started going there, and people started seeing what I do and saying, well, come play here, come play there, come do this private function for us. And then I just took it further, and started saying, well, look, if I can get, if these guys enjoy it, then let me go and see if the pub down the road would like me if I come down on a tour. I started organizing tours and tours, and then I got a chance, an awesome chance, to go and perform in Cromontana 4 years ago. It's actually 5 years ago now, at the Amiga Golf tournament at the Caddies pub. The pub is small. It can take maybe, I'd think, on a push, if everybody's seated, maybe 35, 40 people, maybe. During the golfing week, um, they have chairs on the outside. Inside, they cram people, and there must be about 80 to 100 people on the inside. And we play full ball, rock and roll, party, new, old, and it vibes. And then what we've been doing is putting speakers on the outside so we can service the whole terrace as well. And then I stand next to um, the window, and it's one of these big windows that open up. So I built the stage on the inside and on the outside. And because I'm cordless, I'd, I'd play on the inside and then run through to the outside. So I had two stages, which I was servicing at the same time. That was actually incredible. Every year got better. And then unfortunately this year they had to cancel,
Yeah.
postpone the tournament because of the COVID virus. But yeah, it's because of that gig and that opportunity I got. Um, I, I decided, well, look, I love this place. I'm gonna go and take a holiday. Went on holiday to South Bay and went to visit one of the resorts there. And oh, and then of course I played a couple of gigs there, and the guy said, "Well, come back next year. Yeah, we can give you a couple of gigs." So I put a tour together, found a guy in Glar, just outside Geneva, from South Africa, and it was just that's where it started snowballing. And I've been going the past 3 years, doing 2 to 3 tours a year. Last year I was out of South Africa more than I performed more out of South Africa than in South Africa. It was phenomenal. And yeah, I'm very fortunate that I went in January this year. I mean, middle of January till the 15th of March, 18th of March. We had to everything was cancelled. We had to fly out. But I've been very fortunate that I went. That just set up a bit of a reserve for the year.
Oh, perfect. So as you said, you play literally everything from rock and roll right up to current and some of your own music, which we're going to come on to in a minute. But out of all of the styles that you play, what if someone said to you, Nate, you can only play one style of music for the rest of your career, what would that style be?
You know, in my heart, I'm a rock and roller. I love rock and roll. Um, there are so many, country rock, um, acoustic rock, sort of the rock genre, because essentially I'm a guitarist that's learned to sing, and it's what I've done. You know, I always say I'm a journeyman, and I'm learning to do this and that, and I become from being a musician. I've now become an entertainer. Whatever you do in life, doesn't matter what job you are, you have to diversify and take on more and improve your portfolio and what you do and your knowledge. And I love performing. My happy space is being on stage. Doesn't matter how big it is, how many people there. It can be 2 people, it can be 2,000. Doesn't matter. I just want to be on stage. And if I can't sing, then I'll just play guitar, and that's where I can play guitar the whole day. I just love it. But then besides the rock, I love big band swing, and I did a album called Swing with a Twist a while back, and that was such fun to do. And I love just that's the thing now that I can call myself an entertainer more than a musician, is put the guitar down and just get out there, and because I love the crowd, and I found something that really suits my voice. So I have sort of a retirement policy, which is putting down the guitar and doing the crooner stuff like Rod Stewart and all those guys. And, you know, so
It's still going to be in the music career, but it won't be as jumping around and as heavy.
I won't be jumping on tables and playing the guitar behind my back and all those things like the rockers do.
Jumping on tables, I hear, is quite a good pastime of yours, but we'll leave that subject there. That's a subject for another time, and not on not on today's interview.
Yeah, I guess so.
So, obviously, you play hundreds and hundreds of songs because you do stream a lot online, and you're obviously a live musician and have been for the last 30 odd years. So, out of those, how do you decide what songs you want to cover? What makes you think, yes, I like that one, that's going to go into the list to be played, or I like that one, I want to learn that one a bit more?
I've got over the years, you develop an ear for a song that's commercial that people like. That's just something. The more you listen to different, you pick up those songs that are going to work. And people will say to Simon Cowell, how do you pick a guy that's on the stage and say, yeah, you're the next guy, but you are not. You get that ear for something that works, for a melody that's catchy, a tone in the vocals, something that that tick all the boxes. And if I can sing it, because I got a reasonably low voice, I'm more baritone, not even a tenor. So if I can sing it, then I attempt it. Sometimes I get away with it. Sometimes, take for instance a song like Hotel California, which is an absolute classic. I do it 5 notes down from the original. People say, "Well, how can you do it? You don't crack the tone or anything," but it works. And only problem is the guitar solo, from having to only stretch 4 small frets, you have to now stretch 4. So it's just makes the solo more difficult. But that I get around with, or sometimes you got to move things around. But usually your top 40 nowadays in Cape Town, it's very much a top 40 repertoire. You can play the classics, but people want, it's very fast. What's next? What's new? Okay, we've heard that today. What are you doing tomorrow? And I've got to a stage where, I'll do like Shotgun. Yeah, certain artists have, yeah, say Uptown Funk. Those certain big ones that you see that's going to last. You try them. If it works for you, then you got to take that song and you got to make it last, because quite often it doesn't matter how good the song is. It will something. I remember when what was I got a feeling when that came out. Everybody played that song, and that's I just hated that song. I just thought, no, you know what? I'm not even gonna go there. That is musical junk. But that's just my opinion. But it gets the party going. But I was just saying, I'll rather play
Yeah, exactly.
Langalangi.
Yeah.
But
For people that are watching this stream or watch it afterwards and don't know what Trangalanga is, we'll come to that in a moment, because
we leave something there for them.
Yeah, there's something there that we'll mention it later on, but it's quite a thing. If you follow myself or Francois on Sessions Live, you'll know what that one is. For those that don't, I will update you in a moment on that, because it has become sort of our national anthem on there, and it's so much fun. It does get the crowd going. It's one of them proper crowd pleasing songs. Even the original version of it, before we've modified it into Trangalanga, it is still one of them songs. That's why it fits so well.
That's so you can when you take a song, you got to make sure that delivery is everything. And to me, I can't just go through the motions when I play a song. There's the key to a performance is delivering the song. Yeah, it's like when you're on stage, if you don't fully believe in what you do, or sometimes we take a new song and you get halfway through and you lose your place or you mess it up, you gotta busk. That's what and you gotta get through that song. Sometimes you mess it up so much that they just say, "Hey guys, sorry, that's just not happening," and you put it on. But that happens very few times. You got to get through it. So the delivery is what's key. So whenever you take a new song, you got to firstly rehearse it before you play it, so you know the words. Yeah, unfortunately nowadays, in the old days it was sheets of paper, which I was Never. To me, there was never. The reason why I never kept a book on something in front of me is because I used to kick it over. I used to get so excited on stage, and oh, there goes the book. Oh, try not change. Fortunately, nowadays we got iPads with lyrics that scroll. So, you know, yeah, that you got to use technology when you can. But um, like I say, you take that song, that new song or a song that you're doing, and you got to make it a sort of number one hit in your show. So you're playing number ones the whole time. So people want to say, whatever song they request of your repertoire has to be, wow, he's doing this, he's doing that. It must There must be a wow factor to every song. You do get first set numbers. A beautiful song like Jesse, Joshua Caddison, Fields of Gold, Just the Way You Are. All those. And I only want to say perfect has become like that, where you can just let it flow. And the first set is very important because it sets the whole mood. Now, but sometimes you don't get to do a first set. Sometimes you just have to go in with bam, Summer of '69 or Walk of Life or Uptown Funk for that matter. And so you must be able to do all the different types of shows that you have that in your armory, and and if you make sure that every song that you do, whether it's a new song or an old song or a song that's just been sort of losing its momentum on the charts, you have to do a version that people say, yeah, cool, that was great. Oh, can you believe this? I'm so sorry. Um, this is my Frankie Bankstead phone. I thought I switched the phone off. There we go. I'm actually going to turn it right off now. I'm really sorry, Tom.
That's all right. The busy life of a musician.
Yeah, it's as it's going. There we go. Slide to power off. Okay, there we go. So yeah, busy life at home at the moment. It's been fantastic to these past couple of months jamming on sessions and on Facebook, just sitting at home practicing. I've done a couple of new songs, and it's amazing the sessions streaming community of musicians and all the entertainers, yourself included. Um, there are. It's so uplifting, and it just makes you want to go and take on stuff and say, well, there's because doesn't matter what you do, everybody is so encouraging. And I haven't, to tell you the truth, I haven't played original and original since early 2000s when I recorded Slow Down. And I want to thank you for inspiring me. You play so many of us live entertainers our songs on your show, and you punt them, and it's so awesome. And that has actually inspired me to can say, well, because of the comments that have come in, I've said, well, you know what, I thought my songs would be sort of outdated by now. You take I recorded Life Outside My Window, and all, the first 5 songs on the album, my demo album in 1996. So recording techniques and recording styles, music has changed, like like you won't believe. You know the story. Nowadays there's not that structure that we grew up with: verse, chorus, solo, bridge.
No.
It's just now a loop that gets changed with certain things, and it's very different. So to get that type of feedback from everybody that they like the songs, so, okay, I'll just throw another one and another one, and yeah, and so it's been really uplifting being in this community during this lockdown, because like I said to you, a lot of the youngsters that I used to manage, she said, what does a musician want? He wants recognition, but he wants to share what he does.
Yep.
But while he's sharing, he wants feedback or recognition. And if he doesn't get it, then he loses motivation. It all works to give you motivation. If you don't have motivation, or you're not done and aren't inspired, you're not going to write. because music is not, you can't just, it is, there is a formula to writing songs. If you can go and study that, and you can do it. But me, I don't read and write music. I play it all from here and all from here, mostly from here. I fly by the seat of my pants, uh, and I, when I work out a song nowadays. Fortunately, you got the internet where you can say, okay, that's the chord, and it's
Yeah.
gonna quite, you know. I'm not a big jazz player, but you get these funny, funny broken things, that chords that you got to play, and the only way you can work it out in context is if you can pull up a note sheet or a chord sheet and say, okay, that's what they're playing, and then you work it out. But um, for me, just I must be inspired to do something, take on something new, or to have the energy to take on something new. And that's what I got from the minute go, from when I started uh, um, my first show on sessions. That the encouragement and the how can I say it? Just uh, the friendliness and the acceptance that you get from the audience on sessions was just amazing. And that is my friend Warren Sawyer. He's also a streamer. Watched his show the other night, and he said we are so primed to get out there. We can't wait. And we've been, a lot of guys have their day jobs here in Cape Town because they can't survive just on playing music. So they play Friday and Saturday, but they practice maybe a little bit once or twice in the week because they got day jobs. Now that everybody's had a sort of a sabbatical, all the musicians has gone back and said, I can play guitar, I can play my keyboards, I can work out songs that I don't get time to do in the work, or I'm working from home, so I can structure my days better. And wow, now all of a sudden, 5 months later, everybody's shredding and everybody's singing like mad, and everybody's got new repertoires, and that is so phenomenal. So now we get out there and we are like racehorses,
No,
just
exactly.
coming out of the gates, and we just want to run. There's no holding back. It's just full ball from the start to the finish, and that's sort of that's the wonderful thing about that we've had about sessions and this time. Uh, it's inspired us to and motivated us to do better, to do more, which I'm very grateful for.
That's perfect. As you mentioned there, you've got a couple of originals out, and obviously I play a couple of your songs on my show, which I'm absolutely proud and privileged to be able to do so. I love them both. That Slow Down and Life Outside My Window, absolutely love both of them. I've actually got a folder of sessions artists on there, and I just scroll down. I don't even need to look for your name. I just go, there's Slow Down, there's Life. Bang.
Yeah,
One, two.
you're a legend, Tom. You're absolute legend, my friend.
Thank you. So when you're writing those tracks, or when you originally wrote them, what was the did you get right? Because most writers get writer's block when they're writing a track, or it takes them ages to write it. And your recent one that you're still working on at the moment, I'll just drop that bombshell out there that there is a track in the works still at the moment that you're working on, which is the first one in what 13 years.
Yeah, um, yeah, I think the last one I wrote was about 2005, 2006. I did write a couple in 2013 when I was going through my divorce, unfortunately. But I lost the um, my phone got stolen, and all the
Oh,
videos of the songs were. So
oh,
sporadically I've written, but I've never taken further because I've sort of I I put the original thing out of my mind because it's such a different um, industry. I've concentrated on playing covers because that pays the rent, and I enjoy. You can ask me to play Mustang Sally or Walk of Life and all those. We call them cheese down here. You can. I don't mind playing them. I love it's rock and roll. It's party
yeah.
songs. If the crowd's singing to Sweet Caroline, what more do you want? It's sort of, as long as the boss pays the bills.
No,
Um,
exactly.
and
Especially your COVID cover of that song. I do like that one.
I yeah. We had to, everybody was doing some version, and I just thought, I'm not going to do the stand up Neil Diamond, because Neil Diamond even did a COVID version. I thought, no, no,
Yeah.
I never do things like everybody else plans doing it. I got to do something else. But yeah, I forgot where we were.
No, we're just
um,
saying about you
oh, the
playing.
originals, the originals. Yeah, I haven't written for a while, and um, it just you need to be inspired, or something needs to happen for me to write. There's sometimes and when that happens, like last week Friday night, um, after I think I did I don't know if it was this Friday show or what. Oh yes, I did my Facebook show, or 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden, one or two things happened, and I just started writing. Wrote the song, went to bed, didn't write the music. Next morning, woke up and said, okay, well, that part has to change, this has to change. I wrote that the last bridge. I said, okay, well, I think I got a idea in my head what the tune's going to be. And I think I write the lyrics. There's very seldom that I write the tune or the melody first. I, I write the lyrics, and then while I'm doing that, I've got a sort of a idea of a tune in my head, and then that will help with my phrasing or the way I write it. And then sometimes it takes a while, but this was about 2 hours. Wrote the song. Next morning, took another 2-3 hours. Sort of got put all the things in the right place, all the chords and progressions, and worked out. And then started practicing. I thought, okay. And a little thing I was playing now. I'm doing it, and I could manage it, but it was like mm, just that little bit too high to make it comfortable. So I detuned my guitar. One like we sometimes, like Jimi Hendrix, Stevie Ray Vaughan, they don't play of each tuning; they play E flat. Fernando as well, he does E flat tuning. And I just took the acoustic, I took it down one. Oh, all of a sudden, song came alive. Okay, there we go. And so basically, song's done. I just got to fine tune it now.
Oh, perfect, and that'll be out very very soon, hopefully, from Francois
Yeah,
there. So
yeah,
you said that you done the detuning. Obviously, you've got one of your guitars there. People that watch you on stream know that you do acoustic. You got your electric. You've got a couple of other guitars. And obviously, as we can see, you've got fantastic webcam set up there with a nice green screen backdrop. So what other equipment do you use that people don't get to see on the camera? Talk us through some of the stuff that you use to make the show how you make it.
yeah. I use all my wireless systems that I use live. Um, so I got a dedicated guitar pedal, but I've got two racks, one for live, and I had a spare one. So I converted the spare one for the sessions and the live broadcasting, and then I've got an in-ear system, which just is amazing. So you can play, and the neighbors don't complain because you don't put the big speakers up, and I just sort of amble a little bit in, just for a little bit of, like we say, gees or vibe.
Yeah,
So the bottom end of the track just gives a bit of a kick.
yeah,
um, but even the guitar sounds pretty awesome when you're playing all your solos and stuff. I use a standard Allen Heath ZDD desk which plugs into my Mac, and then we've balanced everything up. The main thing with sessions is when I learned to when firstly we started with Facebook streaming via camera, and then I figured out I have a mixing disc that I can plug into my computer, and then I discovered OBS. And when sessions came on, they said you got to do this, this, and this. I thought, okay, hold on. Now it's up here. There's too much happening for me to try and remember everything. So what I did is I went onto YouTube, and I think that's the best thing nowadays. Google is your friend. It's the age old thing. If you want to know something, Google it. And I went and I watched how to do this, how to do this, that, what's the best way with the green screen, this and that. And now I've got enough to get by. So, and at a certain stage, we'll get the moving stuff and a bit more. But I do enough to be able to help myself on sessions and Facebook, all the live streaming. Now, when we go back, um, what can I say? If I want to take it to the next step now, this person's got to get um, dedicated videos for every song that you play, and that's another big story. But and that
Yeah.
can transpire to when you do live performances because with the screens that you have, um, if you got that type of money, of course.
Yeah, there's ways and rounds of doing that, and that again, that's another conversation for another time with the technical support system in that. Since you're saying you do live as well, do you do anything different when you're playing for a stream? As you're obviously, I know it's different in the respect of that you have a crowd that you can actually see, so you can pick up the vibes from them and go, yeah, I like how that song's sounding, or they're not liking that type of genre, so I can change it. So, from a performing artist perspective, how's it sort of made you have to change the way you do from going live to doing streaming without having that physical crowd in front of you and just going on people putting a message in, oh, can you play this, or I like the feedback on that? How's that made you have to change by being in lockdown and having to go online for streaming?
You know, going online and performing online in front of a small camera in front of you. From the word go, I just did my normal show. And what is amazing, and I come back to Facebook and sessions because that's what I mostly did. Um, the interaction that you have on your chat line is sometimes far more than you have in a live music venue. The difference that I did find is when I perform live, after performing 5 months in front of this camera, my sound in my ears was 1,000,000%. It was brilliant. Everything was in its place. My first live gig out there again was like, that in Raiders of the Lost Ark where Harrison Ford runs in front of that ball.
Yeah,
That's how it was. It was like throwing a fireball and just running this. It was so loud, um, and it was awesome, but it was just I was totally out of my comfort zone after all this time, because you've just now you, you've been thrown in a total different sphere. What was nice is that the crowd, you can talk to the crowd and you get their feedback, and once they start dancing in front of you, then you get the ball rolling.
yeah,
But sometimes you do, and I did a gig. Uh, it was one of these big places with a big hall, and you couldn't play if you play too soft. Then the people outside wouldn't hear you. If you play too loud on the inside, it echoes. So there's never the only way you can do is you just play full ball, and then everybody complains about the sound till the people come inside and they party. But the first hour, I had no response because everybody's sitting outside, sipping wine, watching the sun go down, chilling, um, and I had a sort of thought, and I said to myself, you know what? Now I'm actually missing my online show. So I think the thing with the online shows, you because of the interaction, you have to be really quick. You see, you guys get about, I think it's about a 20-second delay sometimes on my performance, but the chat line is immediate.
yes, it is.
Uh,
Jack,
so
I
if
mean,
you
the video is slightly lagging.
yeah, so if the chat line comes in, you say, "How have you been today?" or uh, "What is that new guitar that you're playing?" By the time that I've responded on the microphone, or I have a it's I know what he's gonna say, or I'm ahead of the time. So, um, and it's helped me to improve my one-on-one like in the old days. In the old days, we used to talk nonsense to the crowd for 2, 3 minutes, and somebody would say eventually, "Hey, shut up and play some music."
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, what do you guys want to hear? Okay, play this song, and then you rip each other off. You tell jokes, and then in the past 20 years, it's got a, sort of in Cape Town, it's changed that it's sort of more. We want the party going, turn the figures, make the party happen.
yeah,
Don't worry about too much talking. A couple of one-liners here or there. Drink a couple of Jägermeisters, and so this is actually nice to get back to that interaction, and I'm
yeah.
thoroughly enjoying the online streaming. There's nothing like playing live to a huge crowd and or a crowd that's vibing, yeah, and uh, yeah, whether it's 10 or 20 people. Nowadays we got a restriction of 50 people per venue, and if you want to dance, then you have to have your mask on, and most places are quite small, so the dancing space you might have 10, 15 people on the dance floor. So um, it's not very big, but it's intense, and that intense is what I like.
No, exactly, and as proven from other videos that are out there on the net, there is table dancing. There is not even being in front of the webcam sometimes with certain venues, aka the Bay,
Yeah, either by
where
you.
where people are messaging saying, "Can the artist return so we can actually read these Facebook comments?"
Yeah, that was actually quite fun. It was that was actually the first live stream that I did whilst playing live. Playing live at a venue, and that was fun because you had to play to everybody then, and to people over there, and back over there, and
Yeah,
it was splitting yourself, and then and still reading the comments on the side.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, that was quite fun.
No, exactly. And then you had another job the other week, which certain videos have emerged out there in the bigger wide world of someone who visits your streams, table dancing, and you joining in with them.
Ah, yeah, Jason. He's a legend, absolute legend. Yeah, he's been supporting me so much on sessions. Awesome young man, and he races carts, but they race on a dirt track, dirt oval.
Yeah,
And he was on the weekend. I went to support him, and he won. He did about 4 races, and out of the 4 races, he ended up being number one. He's a stunning little driver. He's not Jason. He's around about 20 years old now. Great young man, but yeah, he loves Radar Love and Adventure of a Lifetime. And
yeah,
when I played Radar Love, him and his dad on the table, and I just thought, I'm gonna hang with these boys.
yeah,
It was absolutely fantastic. We had such a great time. I think it was Pepper Jacks. Yeah.
yeah. So and it's one of those that you've got new friends from the online streaming, not and also a
Oh,
lot of people
totally.
like that have watched you previously that have been able to come to the venues and watch you, and you put names to faces and
Yeah.
stuff like
That
that.
was the first time I'd actually met Jason personally. Um, um, they were friends of mine, and they got introduced to me by by the other friends on Facebook. And occasionally I saw videos of them dancing and everything. I said, "Cool," and then I actually thought, because I live in the southern suburbs of Cape Town, and they live in the northern suburbs. I thought they were in the southern suburbs, but um, when the when I got to Pepper Jacks in the northern suburbs, yeah, Jason, oh no, we stay this side of town. Cool, So it was absolutely awesome, and we had such fun. Awesome guys, awesome people.
Exactly, and that's what Sessions has allowed as well. Is it's also opened up Sessions, YouTube, Facebook's opened up a world to other musicians that are out there as well. Because
Absolutely, and the platform to promote what you do. It's it's this has always been music is a numbers game. So, and the more people you can get to like what you do or see what you do, especially now, see what you do on social media.
yeah,
Um, let's take Janelle Nabong and launching her album.
yes,
It's done wonders for her, and it's a new platform for us to really get our stuff out there once you get it together.
no, exactly, and hopefully at some point when you get back in and record a full album, you never know, that may be the next time we have one of these interviews. It'll be, you've got your new album coming out in a week's time. Let's go for it. That's perfect.
Yeah.
As you're saying, obviously you stream. You've done a few streams on YouTube. You've done Facebook Live. You're on Instagram as well. You've got your website. So how does it benefit a musician from using multiple social media streams to pull that audience in? How have you noticed it's made a difference to you?
You know, this game is all about hype. And the more hype you can create around what you do, and and the fingers, you know, the streams that goes out, the more information and I was going to say stuff that you can put out on social media, and because it's so quick, it's a 5-second post, whatever you put out, people go, yeah, okay, cool, and once you've posted 25, 30 times, I start saying, what is this all about? Let me go and check it out. Sound like the old advertising thing. You only hear it after the 10th time. And so the more you can put out there, because there are so many people putting out there. So you just got to, social media is what it's all about. Yeah, and to create that hype and take what you do to the next level and the next level. And you just have to continuously kick the ball. Um, if you want people to be aware, keep using that. The other thing I do find is that it's become more personalized. So, or how can I say, I've become more personalized, um, more with WhatsApp groups, um, so that I can target a specific audience. So, and I get to know, because I've been in the game so long. There's If I look at certain people on my phone, I know exactly who they are, and if I need to go to the northern suburbs, I send my northern suburbs stream out, or advert out on my Facebook broadcast list. And if they don't come out, hey, hey, where were you this weekend? We missed you. Oh no, we went out to watch the snow fall. Okay, right. I'll catch you next weekend. You know, you have a direct approach and a more personal approach via WhatsApp, um, and sort of your broadcast lists, which people actually appreciate when you give them a call and say, yeah, are you guys able to make the show, or have you got something on this weekend? And everybody, quite often you get people saying, "Oh, thanks for giving us a call. We'll try and be there," and they come and support you. And it's also a way to stay in touch with people that you haven't seen for a while. So the social media is definitely brought it out, but because there's so much of it there, you have to take some out and do a more personalized approach as well.
Right, perfect. So this question, I always like asking this next one. Obviously, as you said, you broadcast live, you do live events as well. So how do you prepare yourself before you hit that wonderful, if you're streaming, that wonderful go live button, or before you go, if you're at a venue and they say, right, do you want to start? Then how do you get yourself in the game ready to get going? What's your secrets behind the scenes that people don't see before they click the button and see you there in front of you, wonderful red curtains, ready to get going?
Coffee. I've like quite a couple of times. Like today was another one. 10 minutes before, uh, um, I hadn't even planned to. I hadn't even put it on sessions. 10 minutes before the hour, I thought, you know what? I got nothing to do. I feel like going live. Put the kettle on, come to the computer, stream. So I have 10 minutes to get everything ready. Make the coffee, tune the guitar, put the headsets on, get the batteries, do this, do that, and hit it and go. Just make it happen. Um, I'm to me, because when I go live, and this is on stage as well, um, I'll just go for it. So, and my voice must catch up. I've got one or two songs that I'll do to get the fingers sort of warm, or the vocals sort of vocal warm up, But um, usually it's just go for it. And if I do have a problem, I'll do something like Every Breath You Take, because that goes from the bottom and goes right through, or Losing My Religion goes right through into the sort of notes progressions, and uh, you really have to push get the posture right, and push. Fortunately, because of this mic, I've had to, and I've had this for over 15 years. I've had to learn to sing properly, and that is a very big plus. Um, Most musicians, and me included, we start singing, you belt from your chest.
Yeah.
When you sing, have you ever seen the rain, or the way that John Fogerty sings? He belts, and same, you know, all that Bon Jovi rock stuff that and Mustang Sally that we do, and then all of a sudden, and guys will either do that, the jazz singers like that mic, and I learned mic technique, where, and then with this, the minute you start, if you don't breathe properly, then go, because the
Yeah.
head on this microphone is like two matchsticks, the size of two matchsticks. And you can occasionally we hear when I'm talk, there's like a breath sound. When you sing, you must be able to hit the high or the low without that noise.
Yeah.
So the note needs to be made in yeah, and it ambles out. You can't use it with breath. If you do it with breath, you sort of occasionally with when I do Bed of Roses, sort of like wipe that down, take it, take the
Yeah.
mic just out of the way. But if you really need something that really needs a push, but I've overall that has helped a lot, and that has also helped with maintaining my voice. I'm very much aware when I sing, because should I say, I'm very aware what my voice, the situation is, and is with my voice while I'm singing, because if you busy singing and you don't do voice management, sometimes, and my type of show is bam, bam, bam. Um, I'll do 4 or 5 songs, and they'll go from down here, start climbing, and it's the intensity. You take a song like Summer '69. It's not that high, but it's it
Yeah.
pushes. Then you take something like I Love Rock and Roll, which is on that E chord the whole time, which is top of my range. And then you do something like Joyride, or um, Uptown Funk, which is also, it's up down there, but
Yeah.
it's a constant pressure. And there's sometimes that you got to say, well, you know what, the voice needs a bit of rest. It's not a machine, so let's do Three Little Birds. Bit of Bob Marley. You can always pull a bit of reggae, keep the vibe going, and give your voice a bit of a rest, um, and then build it up. You know the story with being a wonderful DJ and performing. You gotta, you can. There are many songs that you can use to get the party going and keep the party going. It doesn't have to be up there the whole time. And so voice management for me is very, very important. And I focus a lot on that, especially because sometimes my live shows, where you do 3 hours, sometimes we do 4 hours, but mainly nowadays it's 3 hours. To me, doing 3 45 minutes is just, you start and you get momentum, and then you got to stop. No, man.
Yeah.
I play sometimes hour and a half, and I'll rather take a half an hour break, and then play another hour and a quarter or something like that.
Yeah.
And so that's how we work it.
Perfect. So, out of your hundreds of songs that you've got in your list, is there one that you sort of secretly think to yourself, "Oh, I really wish someone would request that tonight"? Or, and then there's two-part question to this one. So the first part is there a song on your list that you really look forward to someone requesting? And is there a song on the list that when you see the request come, you go, "Oh no, not that again"?
I want to go start with the second song, the second one. I don't have a song that I dislike out of my repertoire. Sometimes when there's not really a crowd in the beginning, I don't like singing sing-alongs in the first set, like Hey Jude or Piano Man or Trangalanga. Oh, Trangalanga you can actually get away with, because it's no.
Well, I think requesting
Unless it's on sessions, unless it's 3 minutes on sessions.
No,
Yeah,
the first one was 11. It was 11 minutes. Then it was 8.
3 minutes, 4 minutes, and then 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That was absolutely awesome.
No, and
So,
for people that are still viewing that don't know what Triangle Anger is, we'll go over that in a moment. That's the next one that's coming up on our list. So as you were saying, there's not really a song on your list that you don't like. There's obviously, apart from sing-alongs, that you want to be sort of spaced out. But
yeah, you have to. So you can't play "Hey Jude" on the first song or "Piano Man." It's sort of "Piano Man." To me, it's a long song. You
yeah,
need to go somewhere with the song, so you need to get the crowd going. Um, Funny enough, American Pie is a totally different song because
yeah,
it's a sort of vibey song, and people will automatically sing along, and you can create a vibe with that. But some of these sing-alongs are sing-alongs because it's once people had enough to drink. They got personalities, and
yeah.
now they can uh, sing along. But I think that's the only dislike I have is when people come in the first set and say, play Hey Jude or play sing along, and
Yeah.
you got to go there or do Sweet Caroline when everybody's just walking in the door. So
No,
look,
you got to wait for the crowd to be there to go.
why are you waiting the song now? We haven't had enough to drink yet. But I don't have a. I love all the songs I play. If I could play double the amount of songs that I have, I still wouldn't dislike any of them. I just love playing. Doesn't matter. Song. One of the. You know what? I love. I love playing Black Magic Woman because the technical side of the two solos. It's not a major fast solo, or it's just tasteful. But sometimes you play it and you miss. Nobody notices it. Nobody out there will notice it, except you. If you got, even sometimes musicians don't notice it. But you'll do something and you'll just make a note not be 100%. Could have done that better. I shouldn't have done that. Or you lose, you hit the wrong pedal or something,
Yeah,
and you mess it up. And when it's such a basic song, and I love playing the solo on Black Magic Woman. So that when I hit that spot on, then my night, then it's cool. Then I'm happy. The other one is Sultans of Swing. I've been playing that all my years, and
yeah,
the first solo is it's a very busy song. It's quite up tempo, but the first solo is pretty slow and tasteful with bends, and you got to get every bend the right timing and the sound right. And if I get that right, then I'm super stoked. Then the second solo is now we're having fun. It's like playing "Rocking All Over the World." Now we're rocking. But the the second solo on the first solo on Sultans of Swing is slow and tasteful. The second solo is sort of getting into that groove, getting in the speed going, and then I got the sort of almost alchemy-ish type solo at the end, where it just speeds up and takes the whole song into a different, adds a bit of Francois in there, and to hit the speed at the end and getting all the notes clear on that. If I hit both of those together, then I'm a happy chappy. I love my Gary Moore, and a lot of
yeah.
people like Bologna. And usually when I play live, I finish with the Parisian Walkways. That's usually my last one of the evening. Um, but yeah, it's it's a lot of noise and a lot of fun, and there's certain places in Parisian Walkways and in Bologna that's really grabs you, well, grabs me when I play it.
Yeah.
And but it's not as it's not as technical, um, I think, as the Die Straits, as the Die Straits. The Santana is pretty similar to Gary Moore, but I think, yeah, out of all of them, Sultans of Swing must be the song I enjoy playing the most.
Perfect. And obviously, the question on most guitarist lips when you say about Dire Straits and Sultans of Swing, pick or fingers, what do you use?
Pick and fingers. I use.
Oh, you salvage that right on the end of that by saying, including that, because obviously there's so many videos out there, and if you watch them, that or even Dire Straits themselves say no, it must be finger played to get the true sound.
The thing
But
is,
as you like putting the Francois twist on it, and it does work. I've heard so many guitarists that do it just with the pick on its own, and others that follow it to the exact pattern, and I personally can't hear any difference.
yeah, you see, the thing is, it's making it work for you. I've never, these three fingers are pretty dumb. I can do a little bit here and a little bit there, but you know, being a Shadows fan, I was always playing with a plectrum, and then we did Stairway to Heaven, and that was it. No more finger picking after that. That was enough. It's a mission now, and so and all of a sudden lately, a lot of when I went to Switzerland last year, actually the beginning of this year, I bought an acoustic guitar because there was now a big need for more acoustic shows. And then you start playing with the thumb, like Dire Straits. The thumb plays the bass and then the note, and you pick. And so I started doing that, and that made the fingers a little bit wiser. And but for Sultans, I've always when you play the da da da, that chord drift, you it's not the same if you strum it. So you got to sort of play and play the three notes with the three fingers. That's pretty easy. But it when the solo comes, now back to the plectrum. You know, you can play much faster with the fingers if you because you got like 5 plectrums on one hand. You know, but it's a matter of cracking the sort of style and the sound. You got to play softer with the plectrum, or you got to because you have a much more dull sound with your finger when you pluck it. But if you pluck it loud, then it's more of a slap. So you got to listen to what he's doing on the solo to try and emulate the exact to crack the solo. You know, and I think over the years I've got it better and better. Also I play a Court X series, and I also play a LTD, which doesn't have the Strat type pickup configuration, which is 3 single coils. I have EMGs, which are active pickups, and they call them double humbuckers. They're much more powerful, so they've got a totally different sound. So you have to adjust your pedal and create the sound specifically. But then when you play it, you have to. There's a lot of. It's a different style playing. If I take a Fender Strat, plug it straight into the amp, and I play it, I don't sound like a Fender player because my style is suited to the EMGs. So there's quite a lot of difference in how you approach playing, you know, with dynamics on your guitar. So I've managed to get my LTD and my Chord to sound like a Strat. A lot of guys used to say when I used to play Ibanez, they said your Ibanez sounds more like a Strat than the Strat itself. But you have to try and create that sound for that song. You know, when every guitarist it's in the fingers. You listen to Fernando play, he's got a specific sound on that guitar. It's a great guitar he has, but he doesn't sound like the Gypsy Kings. He can play the Gypsy Kings, and it will sound pretty close, but you can hear Fernando's style.
No, exactly.
Everybody's got there, and it's in the fingers and how you the dynamics that you play with, and the effects units. If you're playing with the effects unit or with an amplifier, that just accentuates what you create.
No, perfect. Just quickly, just jumping out of the questions, I'm just looking in the chat here. We've got 3 fantastic viewers watching. Well, 4 viewers. I've got a couple of people here in the UK, but we've got Jason's in here with us saying absolutely love this. But we've got Claudia in here saying hello to Jason. Obviously, hello to us as well. And of course, we've got Frank. Not yet, because we haven't come up to that next one. And last, we've got Frankie in here as well, saying that this is so awesome. So thank you guys for joining me here on CMV Studio. This is the interview with Francois, one man band, here, and having a great time with this. So guys, throughout the interview, we've been mentioning this track called the Trangalanga. Francois, rather than me tell the story of this one, because I have mentioned this a couple of times, why don't you bring the story, everyone up to date on how the story of Trangalanga, what song it is, how it started out, how you put the South African spin on it and made it your own, and how it became the sessions anthem of your streams.
Well, when I first got onto sessions, you go out and you have a look at all these artists performing, and some you like, some you don't, some you follow, some you don't. And I got onto Fernando Ufrit's page, and he's such a phenomenal musician. Firstly, his voice, it's got all those different ranges that he's able to sing. And being from Puerto Rico, he was playing a song, and people were saying, I think it was Pedro, was saying, play the Trangalanga. I was like, what is the Trangalanga? So next minute he's playing, so he plays the song, and it's 500 miles. When on the last chorus went, da 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 da, he didn't know what it was singing, so he just made it up and he sang Trangalanga. And I said, okay, well the brain started working. So I went back and I took and I hadn't played 500 miles for a while because it lost its speed down here in South Africa. And I started doing Trangalanga, and obviously, mentioning Fernando because he started this thing. And next minute, it was just Trangalanga chaos, and all my supporters caught onto that, and eventually it even spilled over onto my live shows. People were saying we want to hear the Trangalanga. Oh yeah, and then it went onto Facebook, and going back to Fernando. All of a sudden, this wave went back to Fernando with my supporters, because we, as you know, we support each other and we go back and forth.
Yeah, definitely.
And we thought, my supporters now come in and ask for the Trangalanga, and then Sandra's doing Trangalanga, and you Trangalanga, and I don't know if Rafa doing Trangalanga.
Yeah, Rafa is the latest. Rafa Machello is the latest addition to the Trangalanga Club. You've got Andrew Monica as well now. That's Trangalanga Club.
Yeah, so
I think Nikki Kennedy as well. She's asked for the lyrics of it, so she's going to be doing a cover. She's going to do a version of it at some point.
The last verse is dedicated to you. Gosh,
Oh, cheers for that.
Yeah, and
can we do African Jägermeister master?
African Jägermeister, yeah. We'll have to find another song. I do. Toes in the Water by Zach Brown. There's a part that says, someone do me a favor and pour me some Jaeger.
Yeah.
But so the Trangalanga just picked up speed, and where it came from Fernando and I think I was probably responsible for sort of expounding everything, but then it came back to him and was like, everybody asking, I don't know how many, if he also did a couple of times at night or if you got that many requests. But it was just fun to see where the Trangalanga was just on everybody's lips. It's like, do the Trangalanga. We want the Trangalanga. That is awesome how something like that can go sort of viral in our own sort of community.
No, exactly. And for people that don't know, I was one of the ones in Francois stream the other night. It took 11 minutes from the top of the hour because Francois has this thing of doing 5 requests for it, because it's the most requested song. He now has 5 individual requests have to come through before it gets selected to be played. It took 11 minutes the first time round. I was in there and I thought, no, come on, we can do better than this. We then done it in 4 minutes of the second request. I then said, no, come on, guys, we can beat this. We've done it in 3 minutes. So in the space of what?
I haven't laughed that much in a long time.
In the space of 18 minutes, so if you average it out, that's 6 minutes a time, 5 of us. Oh dear, we've just had we're already up to 2 Trangalangas for tonight's show. We just had Jason and Claudia just dropping Trangalanga into the chat here. So we've already got 2 on the list for tonight. So within 18 minutes of top of hour, we've had Trangalanga played requested, played, and requested again.
Yes, that's right. That was phenomenal.
And I
I,
must admit, you managed to, apart from laughing your head off, because that was really, really funny to see, you did
yeah,
manage
I
to keep things
actually
going as well.
so much focus because once I started laughing, I was just that was me finished. I just sort of now I've got to concentrate on these other songs, and in come the Trangalangas, and it's like, yeah, it also came at a very good time. It was like it was so funny.
No, it is good. And the
But that's
version,
the fun we have. That's the fun we have. If, and it's like the when you do stuff um, and that interaction, all of a sudden, like sometimes people say, "Ah, come on, let's dance." If you look,
yeah,
if you're a newcomer, you say, "What do you mean, let's dance?" And then you see everybody's dancing on the emojis and stuff. Just little things that have and that has also gone over to the Facebook side. Yeah,
no,
people are interacting with each other,
yeah.
which is great.
And I will admit, I'll hold my hands up to it now. And to do this on a YouTube live, holding up your hands to an emission is one thing. I have actually interrupted Rafa's stream before now and gone, we're one short on Trangalanga. Can you drop in and request it?
Yeah, you're a master at that. You multitask everything. Yeah, it's just like next one. There's he on, there's he off, and he's back, and it's
No,
fantastic.
that is the thing, because when I'm here in the studio, obviously I have my screen for my recording. I have my screen here doing my music, but I've got my phone here as well. So I will hop around the streams and just see who's on. Obviously, share the love around and go. Oh, Sandra's on, right? Let's just go and drop in, say hello. Currently streaming, can't hear you, so drop into your stream. It's very rare that me and you are streaming at the same time. I think it's only been once or twice that you've done. I've
Yeah,
done a random hour and I've been working. Just drop in, Trangalanga, hi, jump out again, and then come back about 20 minutes later. Oh, no, there's four there. Come on, someone, jump in and do it. It makes the
no,
five.
yeah, but that's so awesome about what we have now, and so yes, we'd like to take it to the next level. Okay, anything, and see this whole streaming thing uh, out in the open where it can become more commercial and more viable for us. But that's probably still gonna wait to come. I think uh, I know 5G is maybe a swear word in some people's minds, um, but like we're talking live one-on-one now.
Yeah,
This is the type of thing you need for your crowds. So if you, especially here in South Africa, where not many venues are allowed to have live music, you can't actually get a live music license uh, if you don't adhere to so many, how can I say, zoning regulations or health regulations of this. You can't actually put a venue together with the sole purpose of live music until you open that venue first and run it.
yeah,
So, and every sort of municipality has got different rules and regulations. So a lot of guys are having live music sort of under the table, but then they get a sound complaint and they have to close down. With live streaming, you can actually break that barrier, which would be a great thing to do.
that's perfect. So last one I've got in here. Any major updates coming from the Francois studio? Anything that you think, oh, that's I wasn't going to drop the information on that yet, or drop the bombshell of that that's coming up or that we're working on. But is anything that you want to say? Yeah, that's the next project that's in mind.
Sorry to disappoint you, but there's not much coming up. What I want to do is I just want to do a couple of new songs. This morning I went through. I did Hootie and the Blowfish. I Only Want to Be with You, and I heard. I think it was Fernando that did Afternoons and Coffee Spoons by the Crash Test Dummies, or somebody did that
Yeah,
a while back. And I used to do that many years back, and I love acoustic rock, so I went and did that. Went through the strumming this morning. So nah, we need a little bit more practice. Hootie and the Blowfish came straight away because I used to do that for years. I enjoy that. So just all I needed was the prompts with the words, and okay, there we go. That was quite nice, but nothing specifically planned. I'm gonna try and do more day shows. That's where I want to go. I just maybe still do a once a week a Facebook show on a Friday or Saturday. I still got a plan. There's a couple of changes that I'm need to look at. Uh, do it what suits me. And then they, or what can I say? It depends on what type of work, live work is coming in. Because at the moment it's just Friday, Saturday, Sundays work that are open. So I'll rather stream in the week, because if you got to work a 3 hour shift at night, it's an hour before and an hour. That's a 5 hour that you have to get everything ready. Um, everything has to be charged, and if it's not charged, then it runs dry during the performance. And yeah, you got to be professional. So it's ticking all the boxes and looking after your voice. It doesn't have to do a stream at 11 o'clock at night because you want to. In South Africa, if you want to stream and reach the US market, because it's a big market, but you stream from 11 till or 12 till 1 or 12 till 2, and it's going great, but you got to get up the next morning early. By the evening, it's a long, your voice is, so you got to balance this all up. So there's nothing majorly coming on, except for a couple of new songs. I'm keen on maybe doing. Frank's gave me an idea. I started with when I did the Callum Scott song. I did that at the beginning of sessions. Um, I was going to do Circles by don't even know his name now. But I was going to do Circles, and I never got around to doing that because so many other things came up, and and so that's maybe a song I'd like to do. So maybe look out for that. Probably going to do Circles pretty soon.
Couple of new songs coming from the Francois camp. Well, that just about wraps it up, guys, for today. Thank you so much for joining me, Francois. Thank you for being here. Just do one quick final shout out to who we've got in here. We've got Claudia in here. We had Frankie in here earlier on. I don't know if she's still here. And we've got Jason as well. So thank you guys for joining us. Francois will be back tonight at, UK time is 8 p.m. GMT plus 1. Obviously 9 p.m. GMT plus 2 if you're South Africa. Yes, Jason just reminded us, Post Malone, that was it, with Circles.
Post Malone, that's it.
Yes, that's the one. Thank you for that one, Jason. So guys, thank you so much for joining me here. I will be back streaming with you, I am back tomorrow, but Francois is back later on this evening, so hopefully we'll catch all of you guys on one of our streams very, very soon. So for now, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me, man. Cheers.